Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the International Wildcard Invitational. I'm, of course, Max Atlas Anderson, joined by Jake Spawn Tiberi, and we're here to kick it all off. This is going to be a very, very exciting international event where most of these teams not actually facing international rivals just yet.
Yeah, they certainly haven't. These are the guys that qualify from the wildcard regions. 7 of them are coming through, and as you said, we're kicking it off. Turkey is where the tournament is being held, and I cannot wait to get into this. This is for a spot at the mid-season Invitational in America.
Yeah, and let's get straight into it. Let's have a look at our team lineups, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, hailing from Turkey, our first team on the roster here is Besiktas, and these guys really blew it through there.
Yeah, it certainly did. Then from the Oceanic region, we have the Chiefs, and Hard Random is coming through from the CIS region.
Yeah, and then Chaos Gaming from Latin America, and Detonation Focus Me from Japan. Of course, a very new region here for Riot.
Yeah, and to round us out, we have Bangkok Titans coming through from the CRA region, and arguably the favorites in INTS coming through from Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil, very, very frightening heading into this one. Of course, everyone remembers Kaboom Esports taking out Alliance in our most recent international event where our wildcard players were at, and man, that was frightening.
Yeah, it certainly was. Kaboom came through strong. We're actually not able to make it through this time, so it's taking their place. Looking forward to what those guys have in store. I actually think we have some reasonably strong teams throughout the entirety of the tournament. Can't ever, I guess, go past an upset in a match like these.
Well, this is the thing. A lot of these teams are untested on the international shores, and we've got metas clashing here as well. A lot of these teams having servers that are away from each other. You have no idea what to expect when they come up head-to-head.
Yeah, exactly right. You have certainly heavies into the AD carry regions.
Yeah.
Then you have something like the Oceanic region that play a very team fight heavy meta. So we'll have to see exactly how these regions stack up against each other. And the meta clash, as you said, is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a whole lot of different things. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of these teams are going to have very, very different ideologies on how the game is supposed to be played, and we're going to have a bit of an idea of exactly which works the best as well coming through here. A lot of this is actually going to be very, very new.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you know, we're on a new patch as well now, 5.7. Very similar to the 5.6 patch. Victor is still disabled, but teams are going to have to get it together very quickly. The Leagues of Tanks definitely still around, but certain metas haven't really adapted to that.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams are actually still playing a lot of Assassins there in the mid lane as well. There's Rumble players coming through in the top lane. There's all sorts of stuff that sort of has seen a fallout of the sort of grand scale of the meta across the world. So we'll see exactly what's going to come through when we look to that one. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at what we said we were looking at when we were coming through here. The caster power rankings, of course, most of us putting Brazil there on top, and Besiktas as well, also looking fantastic from Turkey.
Yeah, Chiefs are the other ones that crept up there. They had a fantastic season, and I guess the other 4 teams, no one really knows where they're going to land. Chaos are 5th, of course, coming through there for most people, so we'll get to see
all of us,
that.
In fact.
But yeah, Detonation Focus Me, no one really knows what to make of them. Bangkok Titans, I personally put very low, but other people, such as Papa Smithy, are rating them pretty high up in the 4th position. So have to see exactly how these teams stack up against each other. It's meta versus meta. Playstyle versus playstyle.
Yeah.
And all we have really is a couple of days of scrim results and then some tournaments that these guys didn't face each other in. So it's going to be very interesting to try and figure it all out.
It's severely speculative information, ladies and gentlemen, and I have Detonation Focus Me up there very, very high just because I really like their name and a lot of their players' names.
Yeah, exactly right. So coming through, they also have some flashy players, which you, of course, like to go in on. The AD carry player in particular.
Udapon, pretty cool.
Yeah, Udapon, he's a fantastic guy to at least watch play the game, and I'll have to see how that transfers through to results. But there are some awesome players throughout the entirety of this tournament. I think Swiffer in the mid lane for the Chiefs is another player that people are going to have to watch out for.
Yep.
He's a little bit more control-orientated, but still pretty fun to watch play the game.
Yeah, well, and we'll have to see how they stack up. Of course, our first game of the night, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be Latin America taking on Oceania, where, in fact, the Chiefs going to be representing.
Yeah, it certainly is. And you know, you have a control mid laner like Swiffer coming up against Reggie, and he plays a lot of the old school mages as well. The Vladimir, Xerath comes through as well every now and again, so pretty similar playstyles.
Yes, sort of back to the control mages, but having the LeBlanc and Zed there, definitely very similar for both of these players. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get involved, hop over onto Twitter. Use that hashtag IWCI. And if you're Oceanic viewer, hop over there and use that hashtag IamOCE as well. Of course, a lot of these regions having their own hashtags, and Oceania, they're going to have theirs too.
Yeah, it certainly is. So get on there. Tell us what you think. Who's going to win this one? Which team are you going for in the entirety? Give us your power rankings, because honestly, we want to hear from you guys and when you stack these teams up.
Yeah, and whether you're going to put Detonation Focus Me up there randomly high as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And also let us know how you are watching, guys, at home with on Twitter with the hashtag IWCI still. Yeah. And send us some pictures in. Show us if you guys are having any parties, any crazy stuff going on, or whether you're just chilling in Sydney, Australia, and I guess watch it in your lounge room.
Yeah, or maybe even doing extreme IWCI. Up a mountain, are you off on a cliff, something like that? Underwater, perhaps, ladies and gentlemen? I'd be very excited. If you guys have got mental pictures of where you're watching the IWCI, I'd be very excited to see them.
Yeah, I certainly would as well. But as you mentioned, Latin America taking on Oceania in the first game. It is KLG coming up against the Chiefs Esports Club. And this game, I think, is going to be largely dictated by their bottom lane. If KLG, any part of the map, really did it for me coming into this one, it was Bear and Zycro down in that bottom lane. They really were good at repelling ganks. I remember one of the first games I watched coming into this against Lion Gaming. They were getting 4 or 5 members thrown at them and able to repel it without any assistance from their jungler. Jungler kind of focused on farming up to the late game, and Zycro especially, he's their AD carry player, plays a lot of mid-game carries, but boy is he scary when he gets going. I want to see how he goes up against Radier.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Radier and Rosie definitely a strong lane, but it's not exactly where the Chiefs really play their style of League of Legends. And having this Latin American team, KLG, playing with their bottom lane being the focus and the strength is really sort of going to counteract how these teams play together. It's sort of like that, you know, puzzle piece that fits together a little bit oddly there.
Yeah, it certainly is. So coming through, we have to see, as you mentioned, Radier and Rosie, if you guys only watch Chiefs internationally, this is the same bottom lane. I think Rosie played under the tag Venom when they went through to the last wild card, and they played extremely well. Different mid laner coming through there. It's now Swiffer in the mid lanes, not Heaven's Curse. And yeah, if there's one thing you do have to say about the Chiefs, it's that they have swapped that playstyle. Radier is still a star player, but they play a lot more around Swiffer. Spooks is kind of his shadow there in the mid lane, the jungler, and they really do team up and then kind of unlock Swiffer to roam around the rest of the map.
Yeah, and this is the crazy thing as well. They often leave their bottom lane on an island, and is that going to let that be preyed upon here by KLG? But we are, of course, into champion select, ladies and gentlemen. Kalista, Morgana, and Jan are going to be banned away here from KLG, and Zed, Rek'Sai, and Thresh being taken away on the other side, on the side of the Chiefs. And Helior, he's got Rumble open.
Yeah, he certainly does, and that seems to be the big pick that comes through for KLG. Yeah. They like to get this mid-game composition rolling, and in fact, they pride themselves on being able to shot call around objectives. Their AD carry, Zycro, once again, he's their shot caller. He's the cool head on the team, and he likes to, I guess, farm up to the point that he's comfortable, but then shot call extremely well. But Sejuani, the power pick on 5.7 has gone through and has been picked up first.
And this is ridiculous. The insta-lock coming through of Swiper's Hecarim there in the top side of the map. Going for that smart teleport play we've seen a lot over in China and a lot of these other regions coming down now. Of course, Cinderhulk on that Hecarim. Pretty ridiculous, especially with the Skirmishes Saber probably being the main influence of that one. And Spooks thinking about Gragas.
Yeah, he's having a hard look at it. I don't know whether they need to lock it in straight away. Spooks is a good jungler, plays a lot of different things. Gragas is something that he's recently picked up, but with Sejuani already showing, there are different priority picks. Something like Sivir that they ran so much throughout the entirety of the OPL. As we take a look at Spooks on our screen, not really doing much there, but Swiper, there's the man. He's picked up more and more carry top lane. He was happy to play the tanks throughout the season, like the Sion, like the Maokai. But ever since the carries have come back into the meta, you have to think that no one better than Swiper is going to suit that, because he is a very good diver, even solo, and Hecarim is kind of the anti-carry from the top laner.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He's also very, very good at these Triforce users on the top side of the map as well. Loves the Aurelias at the same time. But KLG taking some time with their pickups here, but Reggie, I don't know why it took so long to pick that one up. LeBlanc has seen almost permaban over there in their region, and man, he's going to pick it up straight away, and we'll see what Swiffer can do to it. Of course, he knows a lot about LeBlanc, of course, one of his favorite champions, but not entirely sure. But Bear locking away the Nami here, sticking to his disengaged playstyle.
Yeah, so happy to try and peel there for Zycro in the bottom lane. And that's a good pickup. Against someone like Hecarim, you do have to be able to get them off. It gives them movement speed, which is fantastic against Hecarim. and will be able to give a little bit of peel. But if anything, Sivir Ultimate Hecarim, they're going to probably need more than just the Nami. I'm expecting something like a Maokai to come through in the top lane. Maybe even a Kennen from Helior who plays it a little bit. But wow, Chiefs, they're not wasting any time. Gragas, as well as Nautilus, very 5.7 champions coming through here. And they're a very tanky lineup. I like this because LeBlanc going to struggle blowing anyone up.
Well, the ridiculous thing as well is the On the Hunt is going to be fantastic for almost all of these champions at the same time. It does give Hecarim a damage buff, which is very exciting, but getting a Nautilus into melee range for that stun that he can spread across the whole team is just terrifying.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we mentioned how they now play around Swiffer. I think this is a team comp that personifies it because it gives nothing away so far. They've got disengage, they've got engage, they've also left him for the last pick, allowing him to counter-pick the entirety of the team. And it is Maokai that's locked in, like that pickup coming through from KLG, because if they need anything right now, it's someone to keep their AD carry safe. He's gone Lucian, very mobile throughout the mid-game, early power spike, can go Bloodthirster as well. But Maokai, Nami, as well as Sejuani, they're going to have to use the entirety of the kit to keep the Lucian safe. Because you feel if Lucian lives while Swiper dies, then they're going to win nearly every single team fight.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And making sure that they can peel as effectively as possible is fantastic. But I also like that bottom lane duo of Nami and Lucian. The Tidecaller's Blessing being fantastic with the Light Slinger passive as well, able to proc that one off. But it is going to be Swiffer's Orianna there in the mid lane. And this is frightening. I mean, of course, Control Mage against Assassin, it can go a little bit wobbly there pre-6 for Swiffer, but we'll see how he negotiates the lane.
Orianna handles this lane easily. It is actually one of the best LeBlanc lanes at the moment because you're able to shield out a lot of the damage early on, and you trade so effectively with your passive coming through there, the Clockwork Wind-Up. Also CS very well. You push out lanes and keep yourself very safe in the lane, and your ultimate in team fights just is much more impactful than Orianna late game. Look how tanky the Chiefs lineup is. And then LeBlanc, she's going to have to look for an opening somewhere. Probably only Radiant or Spooks are the two that you think are susceptible to that.
Yeah.
Over on the other side, you can't really say the same thing. It's really only Maokai and Sejuani that are going to become incredibly tanky. Everyone else very prone to getting blown up from this Orianna Hecarim combo.
Yeah, and the thing that's ridiculous as well is the fact that we haven't seen a whole lot of Nami support. We've been seeing a lot of these tanky supports there on the bottom side of the map coming through just recently, and it's almost like you've got a pseudo third tank coming down. And how do you think Nami's going to really fit into the comp, especially now on 5.7?
Well, that's why we haven't seen it, because she actually gets zoned relatively effectively unless you do miracle things level 1 and 2. Nautilus, at about level 5, is just going to be able to pop that W and be able to walk directly at Nami, and not really much is going to go down from the trade. Burns a lot of mana early trying to sustain and doesn't really add anything to the push out. A lot of the times when we do see the peel support, something like Morgana that can throw the puddle out and be able to push the lane early, get the early level 2. But Nami doesn't really add that. She just adds some zone level 1 and 2. So it's all about the zone. If you can get ahead in that way, it will do good things. If it doesn't, give it over to Nautilus. I actually probably expect Chiefs to lane swap. They do it a lot in the Oceanic region. They're a very good lane swapping team, and they will try and throw Chaos Gaming away from this one.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they do as we hop onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it is going to be KLG taking on the Chiefs. The Chiefs already stacked up, but KLG waiting for them here. As Helior's throwing some saplings around, and oh my goodness, Swiper actually made base check this one. The horse straight in, immediately getting blown up as Swiper, sorry, he's going to die for first blood. Helior picks up that one. The ward's going down, but KLG, they'll take their first blood and run with it.
That is a fantastic piece of scouting coming through from KLG, because if there's anything Chiefs pride themselves on, it's their level 1 play, and they weren't able to get anything in there. They had a ball to be able to check the brushes with. They had a barrel, but instead they chose to face check with their tankiest member, and they give up first blood already to Helior in the top lane. So now Maokai going to be even more self-sufficient in the top lane.
Yeah, and this is ridiculous. It's actually gone for that Ruby Crystal as well. So I actually quite like that. He could have picked up the Doran's Ring, but instead wants to get to that Catalyst a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think that he thinks that he's going to get the standard 2v2 lanes right now, although you can see that they're sending their duo up the top as well. They might be looking for a late invade coming through here.
Oh, very nice ward coming down from Bear as they spot that there's no one in that Tri-Brush. Julius Ditto is actually going to find Rosie here, who stuns him up. Riptide going to be there as Radiant throws in a boomerang. A lot of harass. Not afraid of 4 people.
Good return damage coming through from Radiant as we see standard lanes coming through. Teleport straight away from the Maokai. Not electing to try and take a camp, so he's going to be in lane early, probably pushing that one out. Swiper, however, on Hecarim elects to take away the Wraith camps, but he'd already picked up some potions, so not really going to be able to go back and affect a huge buy. Maybe something like a cloth armor couldn't come through, so it's just going to be consumables. And we will see the standard lanes looking to bully out the Sivir early.
Yeah, and Radiant might struggle here in this lane. Of course, we did mention the fact that Baron Zycro, one of the strongest parts here of the KLG lineup. We'll see how the Chiefs stack up against them here as Swiper is going to head into this lane. Maybe a little bit sheepishly after that first blood went down, but Rosie still playing up very aggressively. Hasn't taken too much harass, and they're trying to get things down. But level 2 hit first here by KLG. And the zoning begins. Probably not too many creeps going to be lost here as a cute boomerang is going to take a little bit of farm here for Radiant. But we'll see how this one shapes up. Not too many creeps lost.
Yeah, actually no no CS was lost there for the Chiefs coming through. And we'll see that it's just a little bit standard across the entirety of the map. Maokai going to deal with the Hecarim very well.
Yeah, and that's Steve. That's how he's watching the IWCI here, probably from his office by the looks of things. Nicely done.
Yeah, it certainly did look like an office space. And it didn't look like he was too happy for a second there, Steve. You got to get a smile in.
Oh, no, if you've met Steve, though, he's generally a pretty happy guy.
Generally a happy guy. Good to know coming through there. As Wave pushed in top lane, some wards coming out. Bottom lane, that's where the solo laners are, we'll call them for now, just so I don't confuse myself even further. They're actually farming relatively even though first blood went across to Helior. Wave is pushing in, see if Spooks or Swiffer get down there to try and help Swiper out.
So many S's, ladies and gentlemen.
So many S's coming through, and Helior, wow, he's tanky already.
That's what a First Blood Ruby Crystal is going to net you.
Yeah, it certainly is. So coming through, he's extremely difficult to kill. In the mid lane, LeBlanc's getting the push in. This is something that Swiffer does very well, is control his wave. Trying to keep it off the turret, but open up the map for ganks.
That being said, of course, LeBlanc not generally that easy to gank there in the mid lane, as Radiant going to pick up some free mana from that bubble coming through. Rosie going to help him.
Bet you he would have liked it to block the Q coming through there instead, but doesn't have it anymore.
A little bit unfortunate, ebbing and flowing. Of course, that is something that Nami is fantastic at, is harassing you down when you're underneath that turret. But we'll see whether it's going to continue working. As Swiper's actually going to take a CS advantage here on the bottom side of the map, as Maokai did go back and get that early catalyst.
Yeah, that's questionable coming through from Maokai. You would think that he would do a little bit more work early game with the first blood. He had that health advantage. Probably could have at least harassed if he was going to go back. Instead, he just takes the free shop, which I guess it gets you a catalyst. Now the lane is very hard to win if you're Hecarim, but going even if you're a Hecarim that gave up first blood is still going to be a fantastic thing as wow, Spooks.
He is so far ahead.
Julio Stitto coming through there.
Yeah, Julio Stitto hasn't actually gone back to pick up his jungle item just yet. Spooks with his Trailblazer, he is able to get something happen, but he also has a level advantage.
He's looking for a steal of the Gromp. That is absolutely huge if he gets this. He's waiting for his smite to come back up. That's why he's kind of sticking around. But he needs to be careful because Nami has also joined. Bear is there. Wow, as well as Zycro, they've brought everyone across.
Yeah, 4 members now as Rosie's going to come down as well. They're actually going to try and turn onto Reggie here as the heals pop. That's going to be another kill going down. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, one comes through. It's Reggie. He's going to get flashed on by Radiant, who blows the heal, picks up a kill for himself. As Rosie's taking a whole lot of damage. Radiant not going to be able to spell shield death as Julio Stitto almost falls down. Rosie gets bubbled at the same time. Things going horribly wrong here for the Chiefs as Rosie riptides as he flashes over the wall. And Helior with that extra kill in the bottom lane while everything was going on. KLG having a dream first game.
Yeah, they certainly are. 4-1 coming through on the Chiefs. They're already 1,400 gold down. They've got a good scaling comp, but they need to make sure that they don't get away with it. And it was just an over-aggressive play in the bottom lane. Swiper stuck around. Helior blew flash, and in the end, he just was taken out.
Yeah, Skirmishes Saber has been completed, but that item discrepancy is ridiculous on the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, it's going to be a rush Righteous Glory coming through. They're that confident now that they're sending Maokai back top lane. Their bottom lane is, of course, ahead because they were able to pick up the couple assists coming through. And that is just huge for the whole of KLG.
Yeah, Vegit actually going to be watching with his cup there underneath. Hasn't realized that it's not quite Easter yet. I mean, not quite Easter anymore. But does have some eggs there, so sitting ready to eat some chocolate in this one. KLG now going to try and get this lane swap happening. You have to think probably for some dragon control. Is Julius Tito going to be able to take down this Rift Scuttler? And Reggie's hanging around at the same time. KLG really utilizing this early advantage.
They're looking to dive Swiper. Swiper is getting bullied on Hecarim, and I love the tactic coming out of KLG, understanding that they need to take the top laner of Chiefs out. And really, with how fed Maokai is currently, they can't even dive that guy. He'll probably live through a lot of it. So instead, Chiefs are just giving up a turret.
Yeah, Bear going to tank this one up as Zychro's going to finish it off. And first turret going down, the objective snowball beginning here for KLG. 2,000 gold in the lead. Not able to quite get a dragon just yet as Reggie's making his way back to the lane. 1, 1, and 2 though now on this LeBlanc. So much kill participation for a whole lot of these players as Radiant with a nice spell shield there. Going to try and stop the engage coming through from this Maokai.
And already the early movement coming up through River. Nami as well as Lucian heading into Swiffer's lane. And this is something that is very dangerous. Swiffer going relatively even, actually up in CS. Doesn't have that kill that LeBlanc has, but if you lose one lane heavily, like the Chiefs have their bottom lane with the Hecarim, then it starts spilling over into other lanes. And you see already the Orianna completely zoned away from farm.
Yeah, not able to do anything here as Rosie's going to clear out that ward as it gets put in the brush.
And Swiper's freezing. I disagree with this. Swiper, you got to push out that lane. At least be able to go help other lanes. Otherwise, if they take another turret, if they take a dragon, KLG are in complete control of this game. Even blue buff, because Swiper isn't pushed out, is now open objective for anyone on the map.
Yeah, actually, Reggie going to get caught by that dredge line there as the stun's coming through. There's the shockwave coming down as he's only got 150 health, but man, he's going to burn down the ignite. One last tick, doesn't do it. The ebb and flow going to save Reggie's life. And man, Swiffer thought that he could easily get that one. The culling going to come through. Swiffer going to try and dodge it out, but he's now caught on an interesting position.
And that was a bad call coming through from Swiffer. They didn't push you into the brush because they thought he was going to die to the ignite. Nami was closer, however, and they gave up a free kill that they should have had. Fantastic hook came through from Rosie. They might even lose a turret for it.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Julius Tito now here with the bottom lane of KLG.
Got ultimate available as well, able to go in there in a moment's notice and dive. Swiffer very low.
Now we'll see whether they can survive this one as Relic Shield going to help clear out a lot of these caster creeps, and KLG are going to back off in the end. Radio a little bit overextended there on the bottom side of the map without too much vision. Going to be able to get a ward in this brush and spot the fact that he does have visitors.
And it just seems that more even heads are prevailing here, Atlas. Chiefs, known to be a very emotional team coming in. They had a great season and they really rode that through to the International Wildcard Invitational, but if they're at all phased at the moment, they don't rebound well. We saw them last year. They lost both majors towards the end of the year. And if a team is going to, I guess, go on tilt, it will be the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, it's still early days, 10 minutes into this one. They do have an opportunity to get back through, and of course the scaling advantage of having an Orianna and of course a Hecarim on a team is something that you can't really underestimate. But Spooks coming through here to the mid lane as Reggie taking some auto attacks. There's the ignite down as the heal comes through. Spooks trying to protect his mid laner. Swiffer, he's going to fall down. Eventually does pick up the kills. Explosive cast comes through. Bear going to flash over the wall as Helios is just so tanky in this one. On the Hunt Speed Pop, Radiant looking to pick up a kill as Helios completely out of mana. Julius Tito's pretty squishy at the moment on this Sejuani. He's going to get the focus and flash away as Radiant gets exhausted. Flashes after him. Beautiful dredge line, and Rosie's going to net himself a kill. Bear a little bit low on mana, but Zekro, he's come through here as Helios gets healed up by the passive by so much as the devastating charge comes through. Radiant picks up a kill but dies for it. And Rosie and Spooks trying to escape. The horse is going to die. I don't even know who came out on top in that engage.
3 for 3 in the end coming through. So an even trade and probably the best the Chiefs could have hoped for. Because in the end, it's Maokai. He's going to get incredibly tanky getting all the kills, but he was already pretty far ahead. at the end of the day, picking up 2 kills onto Radier, probably beneficial because he is the only one that at the moment can chop down that tree. Helior is an absolute beast. And if we take a look at it again, props coming through for Spooks because he saved Swiffer for so long with a good body slam in there. But then it was an overcommit. They didn't have to commit that hard to the fight. They could have taken the 1-for-1. Instead, they chose to fight a very tanky Maokai. And look, he's just taking no damage. Their prioritization of targets wasn't the best. Swiper was still hitting Maokai. They could have collapsed onto Sejuani. They blew so many summoner spells getting in there. And in the end, they just got flanked by Zycro and Helior. He wasn't going anywhere. So strong.
Yeah, and that is going to mean first Dragon going down for KLG here at 12 minutes. So a bit of a late Dragon as Zycro is going to get the Tycaller's Blessing and try and relentlessly pursue Radier, but doesn't manage to.
Wasn't very relentless. He gave up pretty quick.
Yeah, it was just the name of the skill. Yeah, that's how that one works. As Reggie's going to get shockwaved here. Forster flashes, the explosive cast comes through, saves his life as the passive comes down, but he did flash.
Yeah, but very Chiefs-esque. You notice the CS advantage coming through now in the mid lane.
Yeah.
They've just defaulted to Chiefs' game plan. Ignore all other lanes, let them farm, and get Swiffer ahead. Spooks will not go anywhere that is mid lane right now. He's just going to ward the heck out of the lane, continue to sweep, and just repetitively gank the LeBlanc player. So Reggie, if he's playing anything, probably going to be happy that he's on the LeBlanc because that's pretty safe.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually escape from things as Swiper. He's actually caught up in farm here. Not going to be able to exactly do battle with Helior as he tries to challenging smite him, but in the end, not really going to do too much as Helior's passive is just ridiculous. Of course, Maokai in 5.7 has been nerfed.
Yeah, he certainly has with his, what's it called? The something sap. It's his passive that comes through and gives him health back that got nerfed away there. So scales up with levels now. Isn't that flat amount at all ranks? But this is kind of cute coming through from Swiper. All he has to do is every creep wave because he'll have 2 charges of smite coming into lane. Walk up, smite Helior. Won't be able to do any damage to him. Farm out the wave, then leave. Take a jungle camp. Go somewhere else on the map. But what it means is he's going to be able to free farm and not really get bullied around, although he does lose out on his turret now, hoping that he wasn't going to get dived.
Didn't lose the cannon creep, though. And that is the most important part, as Reggie, he's actually going to split push this one as the culling comes through. Rosie going to use his Titan's Wrath in order to tank that one up, and Swiffer going to continue last hitting under this turret. Rosie going to help him out with that one. Of course, Nautilus trying to feel useful.
Yeah, no, he's certainly useful.
Managing
able to pick up every CS in that lane. And I like what they did there. They recognized that all of a sudden they were getting dove and, I guess, gank repetitively in the mid lane. Take your strongest care, your AD and your support at this stage. Yep. Throw the mid, continue to wave clear, get the farm going on those 2 guys, and just send LeBlanc to split push. Orianna probably not going to follow because she is your wave clear champion and you need to keep that mid turret up. So all of a sudden, the one game plan the Chiefs have, now very ineffective.
But the thing is, the Chiefs have actually defensively warded fantastically well. They know that they're behind and they're playing according to that. So
yeah, they certainly
that can be said for them.
Yeah, they equalized at about the 2,000 mark, but now all the members converging on the mid lane. Teleport just not available for Maokai. You feel that is the next thing they're waiting on for. As soon as that one's up, they're going to look to get aggressive. As they're going for some deep wards here, Bear able to sweep out Vision. But Radier, he needs to be so careful.
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to run away now as Radier going to get scrying orbed. In fact, his ward is going to get scrying orbed. He's going to be fine as he backs in this little brush and not able to quite find it here. And KLG have taken their foot off the gas just a little at this stage of the game.
Yeah, they certainly have. It's very hard to siege up if you have only Illusion really to siege turrets. He's not the best turret sieger. Gragas can push you off turrets really well, and there's always the threat of a flank coming through from a Hecarim. So I like what they've done. All they're doing, stalling out for the next Dragon, keeping the lead at 2,000 gold, making sure that they're going to be ahead by that margin, which is pretty big deal at only 15 minutes into the game. And then force Chiefs to fight out in the open, not around turrets where they can get collapsed on easily. Set up good vision around the Dragon area and just force an objective fight.
Yeah, and they're looking for this outer turret here in the mid lane as well. That will open up a lot of the map here. Does go down to about half health as Spooks comes through. He's going to body slam through the turret in order to avoid the damage, but you can see Swiffer, now with a needlessly large rod and that Athene's on Holy Grail, can destroy these creep waves with the attack dissonance combo.
Yeah, he certainly can. So it really is only the mid lane that's ahead for the Chiefs. Maybe their jungle as well. Actually, Spooks ahead by 2 levels. That's
and
a
the same
huge
score
deal.
here too.
That's a massive deal coming through for the jungler. He's 15 CS up, which is about 3-4 camps as well. As we see a little bit of an exchange still going in Helios' way in the top lane.
Not bad. Not quite going to find the Aqua Prison as Swiper runs a long way away. It's a very scary sapling, as there was a piggy up there in the top lane as well.
Yeah, well, there's only 2 members showing in mid, and now they're actually sending a 4th up into the top lane. So they're trying to collapse here. As Spooks, he's not really going to take much damage, but he's caught.
Yeah, there's the Aqua Prison to come through here as well. He's going to flash out of the way, but Twisted Advance is going to follow him, and Spooks most definitely dead. Takes almost every ultimate on KLG's lineup.
Yeah, he does, but they're probably going to lose another turret here in the top lane, because without a jungler, without the disengage that Spooks provides, all of a sudden it's a much easier siege, and Chiefs, they might have to give up a tier 2 turret only 17 minutes into the game.
Yeah, they might, but they do have that Orianna with all of the wave clear coming through, and look at that. Radiant just destroys creep waves.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden the rotation is coming through from KLG back to mid. They need to make sure they don't get caught out here, because Swiffer, he's pretty strong.
He is, and he avoids the Aqua Prison there as well. It takes a lot of damage, though, from that Light Slinger passive from Zycro as he gets a piercing light across there at the same time, and KLG trying to get a positional advantage, but they just can't find it.
Yeah, they certainly can't. So Spooks, one of the tankier members, blown up, but not much else gained coming through here from KLG. It's only about a 2,500 gold lead. Dragon is up in 9 seconds. So we'll have to see whether they can get positional control over that area. And it really is currently Swiper who is very far behind. The rest of his team kind of equalized there. The turret gold, of course, going to put them slightly ahead. But Swiper versus Helior,
man.
Helior is so much more useful currently.
Yeah, can you see what they're planning, though, here? Swiper sitting in base with the home guard boots, does have the teleport available at the same time. They're looking for an engagement as KLG are posturing around.
They're going
Reggie's going to get ulted. There's the depth charge, and the teleport's coming through. The horse just launches himself onto LeBlanc and gets her out of the fight. But Lucian, he's going to take down Spook. KLG taking so much damage. Shockwave gets Arctic Assaulted out of as Helior does go down low. Julius Tito low as well. Reggie at half health. The Chiefs now with a positional advantage as the 1-for-1 did come through. And man, these fights are going so even when KLG had a dream start.
Yeah, it certainly did, and that was with a missed Shockwave. That should have been the Chiefs' fight. Instead, they don't get it. They might be able to pick up the Dragon. Julius Titor will die if he goes for it, but he
picks it up and flashes out. Beautiful play, and they keep the monopoly on the Dragon. That was ridiculous.
And Swiper had his smite available as the highest level on the map, and didn't use it. Spook, same level, didn't get to use his either, and it was all because of Reggie. Julius Titor, he got the smite away, but it was all about LeBlanc coming in, using the combination there to take it down low enough, and they weren't expecting that burst damage to come through.
Yeah, just weren't able to get their fingers on the trigger, but let's have a look at this fight again.
Yeah, so you see the teleport on the back lane from Swiper, it's a kind of split targets. If he had kept zoning out there, might have done a little bit better and picked up another kill, but Julius Tito, he was able to get away from the Shockwave, which really swung it back in KLG's favor. Picking up the Dragon afterwards really just cemented the fact that even though that was an even trade, still went in the favor of KLG.
Yeah, well, of course, picking up the Dragon and more importantly, denying the first Dragon from the Chiefs means that KLG still have that flat 6% statistical advantage.
Yeah, it certainly does, but we can see now the Chiefs trying to get busy in this middle lane. Reggie, he's actually pretty far behind right now. You can see that Swiffer does a lot of damage to him, and with only a Blasting Wand and a Morellonomicon, not even the Sork boots coming through. They're being forced into double Doran Ring. Not having a fantastic game on the LeBlanc, so we'll have to see whether that hurts out his team. However, just going back to it, that Maokai, he's not dying anytime soon.
Big.
He is huge.
Yeah, Frozen Heart completed as well as the Righteous Glory with, you know, some Merc Treads just to round it all out. And he is behind in farm, but 4-0-2 and a whole lot of global gold that the Chiefs don't have is going to mean that Maokai is very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is that they're committing very hard to this mid game, because they've even got a Ghost Blade coming through for Lucian, and past the 30-minute mark, Radiant just going to do so much more damage than that Lucian with a Ghost Blade.
Yeah, well, it's true. So I guess the overcommitment is coming through. Andy Ryan is going to thumbs up his laptop viewing opportunity, hopefully in bed, but I think that's actually on a couch, so it doesn't have the optimal comfort, but not too bad.
Hey, you might have a real comfy couch coming through there. I know my couch. sleep on a futon. It's like rock hard. My couch.
I've seen that couch, man. That is not that comfortable. Oh, Zycro actually going to flash out here as Swiffer takes so much damage from that culling. Man, gets tanked up by the tankier members of the team, but there's the explosive cast. Zycro actually going to get ulted here as the shockwave not available, but the last auto attack from the turret going to pick it up. Beautiful play from the Chiefs. There's the shockwave now as Reggie falls down. Chiefs, what an amazing play, and that's why Swiffer held on to it.
Yeah, it certainly is, and now all of a sudden they've got bottom and mid heavy under fire. 3 people collapsing coming through, probably not going to be enough. They'll pick up 2 objectives, and Chiefs turn the whole map on its head. They've got a gold advantage.
By 100 gold. Which is basically
another turret.
Yep, not too bad. So that's an 1,000 gold advantage here for the Chiefs somehow. And don't you make those rude gestures at me, Jake. My goodness. Swiper is going to head back to the top lane now and farm that one out. But the Chiefs, big turnaround there with that mid lane skirmish. And, geez, Swiffer's play with holding on to the shockwave there was just beautiful. Yeah. It's actually got my tongue sort of stuck in my mouth just a little bit. Can't say the words right.
I will say it again, Atlas. This team plays around their mid laner so well. You can just see why they put so much of their late game scaling in the mid lane and allow Radier to play these mid game carries now, because Swiffer has just got a really good understanding of when he can win fights. And straight away, even though he was chunked out, they pulled the trigger. He's 54 CS ahead. And a lot of that, you go, all right, the Orianna matchup, it's pretty good. But with how far behind the Chiefs were, that's just a testament to Swiffer and Spooks playing this lane really well.
Yeah, and now has a death cap as well. And we've spoken at length on the Athene's Unholy Grail plus Rabbiden's death cap power spike, which is huge. But Bear, he's going to get exploded. He's going to die. But Swiffer gets exhausted and take it out as well. Zycro picks up that kill. That's a whole lot of the Chiefs' power removed. As Explosive Cast going to get Zycro out of it, but Rosie's going to die. And a double kill comes through for the Lucian. 4-2-4. Has got the Infinity Edge as well as a cheeky Brutalizer and Zeal. And man, he's ripping through people.
And what is his build coming through here? Zycro, he's going for
everything.
I have no idea what he's going for.
Neither do I. As Raider actually going to spell shield this one out. Julius Tito does get feared, but Zycro, he's safe on the backside as the boomerang comes through. Does dodge out one bit of it, but Swiper very, very healthy. Looking to try and collapse on this one. Reggie's going low, but oh my goodness, just explosions across this map as Zycro just does so much damage. Raider, he was there for a second, then he was gone as Swiper. Now caught in no man's land.
Here.
Yeah, that's actually the Skirmishes Saber coming through, but it doesn't look like it's reducing too much damage. But there's the Orianna. Shutdown comes through as Helior gets exploded as well. Another shutdown as Spooks gets sped up. Bear, he might be in trouble here as Explosive Cask. 1 second. No, it doesn't go for it. Not happening.
Not happening, but another one team fight coming through for the Chiefs. After everything went really wrong, an overcommit from KLG.
Yeah.
Especially Zycro. You said that he was untouchable on that back line. Never put yourself in that position where you have to walk through a whole forest to get back to safety. Because it's only 24 minutes into the game. It's just not worth it. The respawn's just so low. In the end, they were able to get in there, restart up the fight, and just completely swing it in their favor. All of a sudden, the Chiefs, 2 shutdowns coming through onto Swiffer. He's an absolute monster now if you compare him to LeBlanc, a full blasting one to head, 36 CS. Even Radier, he's gone a much more cost-efficient build, so he's kind of the same power as Zycro right now because he has a little bit more attack speed to augment the crit that comes through. Of course, crit scales off more crit, but also scales off attack speed because the more you attack, the more your crit chances, all that good stuff.
Yep.
So the Brutalizer actually kind of hurting Zycro here, has to weave his passive very well, and then kind of has a downtime in between spells.
Does actually help him weaving his passive very well because, of course, the Brutalizer going to affect his spell damage.
He has this really good burst of damage and then has to wait for his spells to come up to re-attack, whereas if he was just flat attack speed, would have a little bit more of that. I also think that it delays the last Whisper, which, if anyone gets any armor in this game, is really going to hurt him. So, look, it's peaking early, and we said this about the entirety of their team comp. They're going to get outscaled by the Chiefs, so I understand why they're doing it, but that's a huge commitment to the mid-game coming through from KLG. And talking about commitment, Swiper's been in base for a good 20 seconds now, waiting for that perfect teleport.
And he's going for it now. Has a Banshee's Veil coming through into the backline as Swiper just going to try and zone them out here. Another steal not going to come through as Spooks picks that one up. Rosie going to get chained, but not stunned as Julius Tito trying to come through. Did throw out the ult, but didn't quite find it. As a beautiful Aqua Prison comes down. Helior, he's taking up everyone, but Psycho gets exploded by Swiper through the exhaust. Reggie now taking a lot of damage, but they take down the Orianna. Spooks as well trying to do some work, but he is going low. Swiper's just cleaning up in the back line as now it's a 3 for 2. Julius Tito being the focus as Spooks somehow survives. Reggie now on nothing. These KLG members do end up falling down as Swiper picks it up with I have no idea what. And that is going to be Reggie tanking up some creeps. There's a ward in that brush, and he's got 110 health.
Spooks, don't do it. There's no point going in there. Swiper's going to get the kill, although he'll just go back to his clone here.
Oh, Spooks gets picked up. Reggie with the outplay.
Yeah, and Spooks, I have no idea what you're doing there. You're in complete no man's land. You're on no health. You give a free kill over and secure the exit, but all of a sudden, Swiper, we were talking about their Swiffer train starting up. This is a guy that gave up first blood, died in lane, made an absolute monster out of the Maokai, and is now 5-3-5.
Yep, and has a full Banshee's Veil, and a Cinderhulk, and as well as a Phage. Going towards that Trinity Force at some stage in this game, I'd expect. And I was actually wanting to talk to you before all of that erupted. Why the Banshee's Veil instead of a Spirit Visage? But let's go into a replay.
Yeah, so we'll take a look at the replay. Helios overcommits here because Reggie had actually gone back over the wall. And as you see, has to walk the entire way around. So Helios, he's taking a little damage. And then they commit onto Rosie, which is a weird move coming through. As Swiper, continually on the back line, is just cleaning up priority target after priority target. You see Bear, he goes down. Zycro had gone down before that. Julius Tito, he's next to followed by a cheeky red buff that went over to Swiper during that. So he just burns alive. But then it was really, Reggie came up with a huge outplay to kind of equalize that fight.
Yeah, and I like how you call it an outplay because it got him out at the same time. It's beautifully done. Pause is going to come through, ladies and gentlemen. The Chiefs now with a very clean 2,000 gold lead and have the Dragon as well.
Yeah, they certainly do. So the Chiefs moving into the mid-game looking much stronger, but props to KLG. They got their team comp ahead, and all of a sudden, because of where they're at in the game, Maokai very successful as a solo tank in the mid-game. You can't underestimate Sejuani's CC. And then they have a lot of burst coming through from Zycro and Reggie. So even though they're 2,000 gold behind, on very equal footing because of when their composition spikes. If this game goes for another 10 minutes, though, wow, do the Chiefs get scary, especially with their gold value sitting on their top laner and their mid laner. Radiant, unfortunately, you're just a click R bot at this point and get Hecarim onto the back line because Hecarim, he's going for a Trinity Force. He has that Banshee's Veil. You want to know why it was completed? Because the only person that can delete him is the LeBlanc. So as long as he survives that, he can actually smite the AD carry, get rid of all that damage, and then he's just worried about the LeBlanc bursting him down. So if that's not the case, he's going to be able to fly onto Zycro, challenge him to a duel, and then destroy him.
Yeah. Pretty much, and we saw that in the last fight as well. Swiper was just massive. Of course, that W just giving him so much healing in the middle of those fights as well. He came into the end of the fight after killing Bear and Zycro and looked like he was at full health.
Yeah, exactly right. And he did it because he isolated priority targets. So you saw straight away he and Rosie collapsed onto the AD carry player.
Yeah.
Then he chased out the support player, and then he turned around and chased out the jungler. So it's not like he's fighting a 5v5 team fight, which Hecarim during the mid-game, not fantastic at. He's good when he's got 4 items at team fighting, but until then, he really is an assassin. But he just did it by isolating target, taking him down, picking your next guy. Good target prioritization coming through there from Swiper. Because realistically, if he's peeling and he's hitting the big tree, he's not doing his job.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. One thing I'd like to mention is KLG's incredible sort of wombo combo that they do have. Of course, the Glacial Prison into an Aqua Prison. Sort of the double prison maneuver coming through is so much CC.
Would you say it locks you up forever there, Atlas, coming through? But yeah, it certainly is a very good chain CC effect. And not to mention the fact that LeBlanc can quite safely distort onto that, which is a lot of damage as we jump back into the game, guys. So I agree. I like what they're bringing to team fights. I like the fact that they've got the culling to come across, but it is a very high-risk maneuver to pull off.
It is, but we do have Radio almost with that last whisper completed. There's Master Merkin and, of course, the Oceanic Country Manager watching on his laptop.
Relegated to a laptop, Mirko. Where's the big TV?
This is ridiculous. We've seen one of those already, Mirko. You had better standards before. But well done. Well done. 50 CS still the advantage here for Swiffer in the mid lane. Does have the Sorcerer's Shoes completed, going for that Void Staff second, you have to think. Swiper has himself a Sheen, so only about 1,200 gold away from that Trinity Force. But Helior on the other side of the Rift does have almost a Randuin's as well as the Frozen Heart. There is no way physical damage is getting to this Maokai at all in a team fight.
Yeah, he certainly is very strong at the moment, and I'm waiting for after that Void Staff to see whether Swiffer goes for the Leandri's Torment to try and just get some damage onto the Sejuani and onto the Maokai. You expect that to be a Locket of the Iron Solari picked up by Julius Tito as well.
Yep.
So hopefully when that is the case, all of a sudden they're starting to nullify exactly what Swiffer is bringing to these team fights. However, on the other side of the Rift, Spooks has already got his over, not going for the selfish items first. He's got a Sightstone, and he's got a Locket. So he's very much a team-fighting, supportive jungler right now. Also gives him some cooldown reduction. Once he finishes up that Frozen Heart, he's going to have 30 cooldown reduction, as well as everything from his runes and masteries. You have to think he's running at nearly max. And then good luck getting away from a Gragas. Yep. One of my favorite things about Gragas is if he lands his body slam, it resets some of the cooldown, and all of a sudden, he just sticks to you like glue. If you fight him in a choke point, he's got his barrel, he's got his body slam. It's like nearly impossible to walk past him. He's like this big fat bouncer that just won't let you anywhere.
Yeah, well, exactly right. And it's pretty hard to walk through a big fat bouncer if anyone's been out partying. So it makes a whole lot of sense to me as well there. Spawn as Swiffer, he has completed the Void Staff. So he's got that trifecta of mid lane items that they really want here in the mid game. Also with the boots, just as the icing on that cake. So of course the Chiefs probably looking for a little bit of a team fight at this stage, but we'll see whether they can still take it, because Randuin's Omen now completed by Helior. He's a monster. Of course, Hecarim now heading back to base is going to have a Trinity Force, so that's a decent spike at the same time. But is sort of a third item Trinity Force still the power spike that you're looking for with that item?
Yeah, it certainly is. He's real strong now, and he's not going to be hitting Helior, so you don't ever compare them head-to-head. Helior, unless he's really peeling, is never going to be Swiper's priority target in these team fights. It's really about how quickly he can kill that Lucian right now. And when you look at his items, you think pretty quick.
Yeah, pretty damn quick. One thing that we haven't really mentioned here is the fact that Rosie's 3-1-9 has escaped a whole lot of death that has been going on this map and has really looked fantastic. Actually managed to lock down the kill onto Zycro in the last team fight there around the Dragon. Really beautifully set that one up for Swiper to take down. This Nautilus support has really been going well.
Yeah, and he's got the Righteous Glory for his team, so he's like the second speed up. They can use Radier, then he can wait until Swiper and he can team up and jump onto the AD carry. So I like what he's done with his itemization. He actually, I'm not going to say stole, but wow, Engage coming through.
Yeah, they're looking for something. Julius Tito's going to miss the ult as the tidal wave comes through, but Spooks, he's going to get caught. Reggie gets exploded as the Mikhails comes through. Swiffer so fast trying to escape this one. Helior getting the focus from Radier, who has the last whisper now. Rosie going to get blown up, but Helior's going to fall down as well. Julius Tito melting like butter as the Gragas picks up the kill. Spooks gets caught by an Aqua Prison, and KLG, they're on the run because Radier's at full health, flashing forward. That auto reset was insane onto Bear, and the Chiefs tore apart that fight.
They certainly did. 3 dead. All of a sudden, no teleport. Baron a real objective at 32 minutes in. Chiefs taking over this late game. And Radier, the evolution of his game. A year ago, he would have never flashed for that kill. This time, going on the solo mission, securing the 3rd death, picking up the Baron for his team. And this is now in very big danger zone for KLG.
And I believe you actually mentioned about 10 minutes ago that if this goes another 10 minutes, the Chiefs are definitely going to be ahead. So I think you've done well.
Yeah, exactly right. It's just all about the Orianna as well as Swiper. You saw how long it took to kill him. He's probably, because of his W, just as tanky as Maokai at this point in the game because of the fact that Last Whisper was, I guess, on its way, finished up for Radier in that team fight. Yeah. Only just finished up now for Zycro. So the Brutalizer in the end did come back to hurt you, Zycro. Didn't like the pickup then, still don't like it now. And this was just an overcommit. We mentioned how tanky Spooks is. The Shockwave deleted Reggie. All of a sudden, all the healing items that Bear wants to be using on Zycro aren't there. And they're fighting on mismatched terrain. There's a wall between KLG's lineup. There wasn't a wall between the Chiefs, so they could just free hit. Swiper dove in, took the upfront burst of the damage, and from there, Radiant was just powered to flash into a fight and completely take over.
And the Chiefs had a complete monopoly of the vision in that little banana brush as well, and it meant that Swiper could just walk in there. No one was attacking from it, and he was hidden away from Zycro, had to face check it if he wanted to finish off the horse. And there was not a whole lot that KLG could do apart from run away and then get flashed on by Radiant.
Yeah, exactly right. So they had to back away. Their front line went down.
Yeah.
And we said that they weren't going to be the priority target. So if they ever do go down, you know that their positioning is wrong because the Chiefs don't want to be hitting them. They just happened to be the most enticing target at that point in time. They peeled Backley beautifully through the lack of vision. We mentioned the wall really cutting off the rest of the team. And in the end, that meant the Baron and now Chiefs, they're just starting to siege up.
Well, not necessarily siege up. They're starting to take turrets across this map. You can see KLG were defending the mid lane, but Chiefs 5 members strong here on the top side of the map. KLG actually defending behind their inhibitor turrets. They are giving so much respect to this Oceanic team coming through.
All of a sudden, Atlet is a 7,000 gold advantage.
Goodness.
So not only do they have the better team composition late game, Swiffer's just got another needlessly large rod. All of a sudden, there's a BF sword sitting on top of Radiant after that last fight. Rosie's a monster with the face of the mountain, so tanky, although he gets taken a half health there.
That was a full combo from LeBlanc, though.
Yeah, and that's probably not who you want to be using it on as they go in again, trying to repel this invade.
I think Swiper took a spell. Not entirely sure. Although just a cheeky Q, probably not going to do a whole lot anyway, but the Chiefs are going to continue to wait around here. Another siege minion going to come through, powered up by this Baron, of course, non-attackable by the turret. And this inner turret's going to fall down here in the mid lane as well. The bottom lane probably going to be the next option here as the Chiefs going for a bit of a textbook play.
Yeah, they're just moving around the map. There's a huge minion wave bottom lane. They don't want to be caught out, although it looks like they're on their way to being caught out. As Spooks, he's trying to steal the red buff. Although there's a mid laner, nah, they are able to pick it up. So, I don't know, a little bit unnecessary. They're just trying to take everything they can before they pick up the rest of the farm. Good use of the Baron buff. They pick up 3 turrets with it. Now very much 8,000 gold in the lead. And Swiper, that is a top laner's dream there. Being able to gallop into a minion wave, pull the AD carry. Obviously didn't scream loud enough for you to leave alone.
The red dot syndrome of an AD carry coming through there. But Swiper happy to parade into it. He's going to head back to base. Does have 2,200 gold, so I'd probably want to go back too, as Swiffer is waiting for the extra 18 gold for the, I believe, Sonny's Hourglass.
Yep.
There it is. Beautiful. See, I can do my maths.
You certainly can. 90 CS now ahead is the mid laner for the Chiefs. 3-3-11, having a very good supportive game. Rosie's scoreline looks so much better because Swiffer was kind enough to give him a couple of kills in the mid-game. As Spooks now prepping the blue buff. And you think from here, Chiefs just head bottom lane, try and push that one out, take out the last outer turret of the game, and really make KLG play the measured, controlled style that Chiefs want. KLG from here, they're looking for a flank. They're looking to get Maokai on top of Radiant, get a perfect Sejuani ult into people. Maybe even a turret dive to come through, a little bit of a misplaced turret dive. Layer their CC that we've already talked about. Nami, she's got the ultimate, she's got the bubbles. Sejuani, she's got everything in her kit that just screams CC. And try and hope that the Chiefs make a slip up, because honestly, without a misplay, Chiefs win this game pretty textbook.
Yeah, well, that's what it's looking like so far as Spooks.
A zoning barrel.
A zoning barrel. That was an interesting
nice.
one. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one. He's going to throw another one there into that bush and spot out the fact that there is a pink ward. Chief's going to clear out some more. It is some great defensive vision coming through from KLG. They do know exactly what's going on around that Baron pit, as Spook's not going to quite get Aqua Prison, but Julius Tito coming around the side as well. Swiper split pushing with that teleport available.
So they back off until someone shows in Swiper's lane. Very good slow play coming out here from the Chiefs. You see, as soon as they see Helios in that lane, they're like, okay, now we can group once again as 4. I'm waiting for Spooks to just walk up to the turret and throw Gragas Barrel at someone. It's the easiest way to get people away from turret. As soon as this minion wave creeps into it, you just pick up your barrel, you throw it at someone, all of a sudden they can't stand on the turret anymore, and Radiant can get free shots. Without that barrel, Radiant is way too short range to hit the turret.
Yeah, and Helio actually can't do anything to Swiper anymore. Swiper went back and got a Thornmail.
Yeah, so not going for the Frozen Heart.
Wow.
So he's going for Frozen Heart last. Actually like the pickup coming through there, because no lifesteal yet built on Lucian means that hitting Swiper now, really bad option.
Especially if Swipe is in your face as well. I mean, you're taking Cinderhulk damage, Rampages, devastating charges, and Sheen procs, and man, it's just a horrible time attacking that horse.
Yeah, it certainly is. So now finally after LeBlanc distorts in, maybe they can get some work done on the turret. No, they still can't commit to it, so maybe they have to wait for the... Wow.
That was not a good trade, Reggie. As I believe that was, in fact, a Mimic distortion onto Swiffer that he shielded up.
Yeah, he certainly did, and in the end, just the attack command and then Dissonance coming through it. That was half the health, so I was going to say maybe they abandoned it. All of a sudden, everyone's like, we can take that turret. We can one-shot the LeBlanc.
Yeah, well, LeBlanc's actually going back, so Reggie going to be back in base for the next few seconds. That's only going to be 3 people underneath that turret, and that's all of the burst damage available, and you'd think Swiper could even teleport in if they really wanted to fight something.
Yeah, they don't want to dive. This is the thing. The Chiefs are in a position to win the game. Why would you force that hard? The Baron's up in like
I've seen them play before.
All of a sudden, yeah, but you've seen them play locally, domestically. There's a hell of a lot more on the line right now.
Yeah, I know. I know. Don't worry.
This isn't 4-0. Throw a 13,000 gold lead, Atlas. This is the International Wildcard Invitational.
That is rude. Okay, that was just good play.
It was. Very good play. Nidalee players are really annoying when they get to late game, apparently.
Exactly.
So, but like right now, all they do is they slow play the game. They make sure that they're securing objectives. There's only 1 outer turret left. They can take that with the next Baron. I think they're up to their 3rd Dragon. Movement speed, always a good thing, especially when you're running a heavy engage comp like the Chiefs are. Hecarim, double dipping with that passive comes through as a little bit of attack damage as well. But yeah, they're in no rush right now. Yeah. They can just play it slow.
Yeah, and also the Baron is going to be up in another minute as well, ladies and gentlemen, so the Chiefs probably looking to go and pick that one up. Head over to the Dragon, pick that one up. Just head around this map, make sure that they have everything in their back pocket before they go for these sieges that they want to pick up. And, of course, we saw last time they grabbed the Baron, they picked up a whole lot of turrets, and you have to think that's going to give them that opportunity to get into the base, because breaking the base is still very, very important.
Well, the thing about these compositions and the really tanky comps that are augmented by Sivir is all of a sudden you can't hit turrets. Because Sivir, no range as an AD carry. She's still relatively squishy. They don't have great... If someone dives onto Radiant, they really do need to layer the shields on there, and it only really is the Orianna shield right now. I mean, you can get Face of the Mountain if you really are picky for it, but they don't have that many options to keep the AD carry up, so it's still extremely hard.
Yeah, and it is 3v4 now around this turret, of course. Wow, Radiant does a whole lot of damage when he does have access to that. 4 items now.
Oh, Reggie missed both chains there. A little bit of a misplay coming through from the mid laner from KLG. He's had the game dictated to him. The rest of the map held up very well, especially their bottom lane. Zyko looks brilliant. He's kept up in CS. Questionable item build coming through, but he was trying to get his team into a position to win the game. But overall, their bottom lane for KLG really has looked promising.
Oh, most certainly. Reggie actually coming through does manage to chain up the Dragon. As Julius Tito looking for the steal, doesn't quite find it, is going to get locked up. There's a beautiful barrel to get him back into the team, but he's getting healed, is going to survive as Helior now comes through. Swiper with an escape helps pick up a kill, and Helior now finds himself in the back of the pit, forced to flash out. Rosie flashes over on a one-man mission as Helior gets double killed by Swiffer. Julius Tito does manage to make his way out, and Rosie just zoned 2 people.
Yeah, he certainly did. A no-health jungler and a support. So
okay, I'm not going to give him too much credit, but still, it was pretty cool to watch.
So he did something, but in the end, there's 2 priority targets on KLG's lineup. Stop diving, start peeling, because Zyko had no peel whatsoever and got deleted. And Reggie, he was trying to weave in and out of that fight. All of a sudden, Chiefs decided they wanted to poke him a little bit, and he exploded his build. No death cap coming through there. He hasn't got...
No Zhonya's?
No Zhonya's coming through there. Thank you very much. No Abyssal Scepter, something like that to get rid of a lot of the magic damage. And he's a sitting duck.
He most certainly was. And if he does manage to get caught in that distortion, can't get back in time, then he's just going to die. 13,000 gold now the lead for the Chiefs as Swiper's just bounding around this Baron. Spook's coming through now, and so much Baron damage means this is going to fall down almost immediately. Swiffer has to be sitting on a whole chunk of change as they're going to empowered recall back to base. 2,500 for the mid laner. 27 now as he purchases some items. Picks up the Haunting Guys here, so going for the last item, Leandry's Torment, and I know you like that one, and I certainly do too.
Yeah, I certainly do, because if they're going to go for any kind of turret dive, that's when you have to hit the tanks. So Leandry's really augment that, but it's a 6-item top laner, 6-item jungler, pretty much a 6-item AD carry. Nothing to improve on from Chiefs here, so they need to win the game relatively soon.
They do. Otherwise, this gold is going to be completely irrelevant. Quick shot. He's going to watch it over some feet. I assume his own. Nicely done, quick shot.
Yeah, very nice picture there. Sad I don't get to see his hair to compare whose is better today. So hey, next one you said
he gets to relax, okay? He doesn't have to worry about it. Hair battle not happening today.
But they've gone back to the split push. Of course, teleport was used this time from Helio, so all of a sudden, Swiper in that bottom lane, heck of a lot safer to start split pushing through there. He's got his teleport available. So any fight they start right now, it's a 5v4 in the Chiefs' favor.
Yeah, and I think that KLG also have to go for the risky plays now. Of course, it's looking like sort of as time goes on, it's just the Chiefs slowly and methodically winning the game. And KLG, if they're going to get back into this one, they have to surprise the Chiefs. They have to catch them out with some sort of play.
See, I kind of disagree. I think that if that's the way you're going to play the game, you do it 10 minutes ago. So the first time that they're sieging near the bottom turret, maybe not 10, but maybe like when they were sieging that bottom turret, that's when you pull the trigger and you go, okay, we're going to make a risky play. We're going to leave Hecarim up top, and we're going to try and force and engage and get you out of position. All of a sudden, giving up like 6 items on every major carrier on the opposition team and then going, well, we need to make a miracle play.
Idea. I just
we
said
need to do it now. They've kind of committed to, we hope we don't lose this game until gold becomes irrelevant. So I think they actually just stick to wave clear. I don't think they're going to win because of it, unless the Chiefs like single file turret dive, and even then I still think Swiper can kill a couple of people as they do it. But yeah, if that was how Chaos Latin Gamer wanted to actually play this game, they needed to pull the trigger 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, we're sort of looking for opportunities here in a place that's a little bit dark and dangerous, Spawn, because KLG in a whole lot of trouble. Of course, when you're down 15,000 gold at this stage of the game and you've got the likes of Hecarim and Orianna sitting there on almost 6 items, and there's not a whole lot of good news stories.
This is a 5.7 thing. This is why we're seeing tanky supports and even tankier mid laners coming through, because all of a sudden, the game is about control. And if you control the majority of the map for the majority of the game, you win a lot of these things. It's about long, drawn-out team fights, prioritizing objectives. A lot of the top laners right now don't take Baron damage, so you just sit on Baron and make teams come to you. It's how the Chiefs are forcing fights everywhere through objectives.
Oh, we saw that. Hecarim just sitting there on his own.
Yeah, exactly right. So all of a sudden, the Chiefs have a team that does that very well. They've got 3 tanky members and an Orianna with a huge shield and a very self-sufficient AD carry. On the side of KLG, they don't have a team that does that very well. They've got Sejuani and Maokai as their 2 tanks. Nami is kind of a misfit in the whole composition because she's not enough peel by herself. And LeBlanc, I think, is the main one for me. They blind picked it, and there's just not very many lanes that LeBlanc currently wins. I think that she actually does relatively poorly in a lot of the lanes that she used to do well. Even things like Ahri currently beat her because of the introduction of Luden's Echo.
Yeah, well, this is the crazy thing. We still have seen across regions being picked high priority, of course, often banned away here as well. But you're exactly right. We have seen sort of illustrated exactly what the weaknesses are.
Yeah, exactly right. And when you take something like an Orianna, that past level 4, you're just not going to burst down. It's extremely hard to do LeBlanc's job efficiently.
Oh, the culling going to come through. Spook's just going to happily tank that one up as he uses the rest of it on the turret. Meanwhile, Swiper is just ignoring Helio on this bottom side. Breaks the base as Swift is going to Zhonya's. There's the tidal wave to come down. Doesn't quite do too much as Spooks takes a lot of damage. Command Protect in there to help out. Meanwhile, Swiper continuing the pressure. And the Chiefs, they're just hanging on to this siege minion. Another wave comes through. They're going to lose another turret, KLG. The inhibitor now under fire. Reed doing so much work. Another inhib falls down as Zychro's going to get ulted up and exploded. The Chiefs now on a rampage into this base. Swiper sort of wanted to find something. Instead, just decides to take a consolation turret as the Nexus is soon going to be the focus. Super creeps here. A hula hoop to come down, but Reggie still takes a whole ton of damage. The Nexus falls, and the Chiefs, after a difficult early phase of the game, win that one with an 18,000 gold lead.
Yeah, an impressive mid-late game coming through from the Chiefs. A disastrous early game, though, especially for their top laner, but he finishes in style. He just tanked that turret up, even through the Cinderhulk, burning him down. But in the end, KLG, they put together some good parts of the composition, played the early game phenomenally. The laning phase especially was impressed by their early map movements, but just couldn't translate it into any meaningful mid-game outcome.
Yeah, and there are a few mid-game team fights there that just went almost luckily in the advantage of the Chiefs. You have to think that if it had have gone slightly the other way, KLG really could have ran over that game.
But the one thing you will say is that the Chiefs stuck with the fights.
Yeah, they did.
And this is a very 5.7 thing. We keep coming back to it, but they've got tanky members all of a sudden fighting for prolonged amount of time. When you have things like Gragas that gets health back, things like Hecarim that gets health back. These fights, they look lucky, but your kit supports long extended trades.
Yeah,
the kit on the side of KLG, LeBlanc, Lucian, they're all around fighting around their combo, blowing one member up, transferring that into an objective. So when the team fight started going longer, it was only natural for the Chiefs to start picking up early advantages.
Yeah, and that's sort of just what is involved with an Orianna and a Hecarim, I guess. I was just sort of talking about the fact that there were some really slim moments there when the Chiefs limped away.
They were coming down to the wire. That team fight in the mid lane, especially where the Chiefs stuck at it and nearly overcommitted when they blew a couple of flashes for a dive and Zycro committed late. That was a team fight that, yeah, definitely it could have gone one of two ways. And in the end, trading evenly for the Chiefs was definitely good because the later the game went, the more their team comp was going to come into fruition. But I think it's just more of a point. You have to understand what you're fighting with and what the objectives of your team is. KLG, they were hoping to get a big wombo combo across, use their combination of spells, then move into something early, and they weren't able to do that.
No, not quite, but we'll see whether it pays off in their next one. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a replay coming through from that game, and let's just see exactly how this one happened. It was, of course, the last Dragon fight that the Chiefs did manage to take.
Yeah, so the Chiefs start this one up, and Spook takes a combo. So when we roll this one out on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see LeBlanc pop over the wall and the teleport come in. And this is where they actually prioritize Julius Dito, but he's not the priority target. All of a sudden, he runs away. No one's peeling for Reggie. No one's peeling for Zycro. Nami's in the wrong position to start that fight. She's got both her summoner spells available and somehow lives. In the end, they tried to engage from a split pincer movement behind. Always a bad thing. Don't send your squishy members towards the bottom of the map because if they go in together, they just get prioritized and exploded. And once again, it was just the Chiefs. There was nothing wrong with how KLG played the early game. It was about the execution through the mid-late.
Yeah, and it didn't really work out. Of course, they also committed very, very heavily, like you mentioned, picking up things like that Brutalizer to come through very early on and making sure that they could augment the fact that they have these mid-game power spikes. Do you think that's an overcommit that you never want to do, or do you think it works out in some situations?
No, I think the Brutalizer was a outright bad purchase.
Okay.
He's against two tanks. He's really not going to get that much burst damage in. Realistically, he's trying to fight a Hecarim. If anything, Blade of the Wrong King was a better item to pick up in that situation, just because of the fact Lucian scales really well with
when there's two Cinderhogs as well.
Yeah, two Cinderhogs coming through. You know there's going to be some HP stacking. You need lifesteal. Kiting is a huge thing, so the active is a better pickup there. I just think that the item build, it really didn't make sense. The only way it would have made sense to me is if he went something like IE, Youmuu's into Last Whisper, and just spammed like pots the entire mid game and just tried to go as cost effective as possible and get to an earlier spike than what Radier did. But in the end, that's not how the build worked out at all. So it really was caught between two ends. He tried to go late game with a Phantom Dancer and mid game with a Brutalizer. It was just not great.
Yeah, it just doesn't work out. But ladies and gentlemen, the night is still young. There is a whole lot more IWCI coming up. We do have, of course, Japan taking on Russia right after this very short break.